You know that three-pointed star, right? It's way more than just a logo on a car. It stands for luxury, for incredible engineering, for, well, over a century of history. But how did it get there? How did that symbol become such an icon? That's what we're going to break down today. We're going to look at the whole story of Mercedes-Benz, from a single revolutionary patent all the way to the massive challenges they're facing right now.
Okay, so here's the plan. We're starting at the very beginning, the invention of the car itself. Then, we'll dive into the innovations that literally changed how safe our cars are. After that, we'll get into the design, what makes a Mercedes look like a Mercedes. We'll also unpack how they sold a lifestyle, not just a car. And finally, we'll look at the big one, their challenge to conquer the electric future.
All right, so let's jump in. Where does a story like this even begin? Well, it's not with a machine, actually. It's with the vision, the obsession, and just the sheer grit of one person.
And this quote from the man himself, Carl Benz, really says it all. The love of invention never dies. I mean, that's the core of their DNA right there. It wasn't just about making a thing to sell. It was this deep, driving passion to create. And honestly, that spirit has been the engine powering Mercedes-Benz ever since.
And listen, this did not happen overnight, not even close. Carl Benz went through decades of trial and error. We're talking founding companies, failing, starting over, all leading up to this huge breakthrough in 1886. That's the year he filed the patent for his vehicle with gas engine drive. And that patent, it was basically the birth certificate for the modern car.
Now, here's what's so cool about the patent motorwagen. A lot of people might think it was just, a carriage with an engine stuck on it. But no, Benz saw it as one complete integrated machine. The engine, the body, the steering, it was all designed to work together from the ground up. And that was a huge leap forward.
But an invention is pretty useless if nobody believes in it. And that's where the story gets really interesting, because his wife, Bertha Benz, steps in. In 1888, she did something amazing. She took their two sons, didn't even tell her husband, and went on a 100-kilometer road trip. This wasn't just for fun. It was the world's first real road test, and it proved to everyone watching that this automobile thing was for real.
So that first spark of invention, it kicked off this incredible culture of non-stop engineering. It's what defined the brand for the next 100 years, especially when it came to keeping people safe.
Okay, let's talk about the crumple zone. We totally take it for granted today, right? Every car has one. But it was a revolutionary idea, patented by Mercedes-Benz way back in 1951. Before that, everyone thought the safest car was the strongest, most rigid car possible. The problem was, in a crash, all that force just went straight to the passengers.
But their idea was brilliant. It was so simple, yet it changed everything. They said, let's build a super strong, rigid safety cell for the people, but then let's make the front and back of the car designed to, well, crumple. These zones would absorb the crash energy, protecting everyone inside. It was a game changer, and it's a fundamental part of every single car built today.
And they didn't stop there. Next up was another huge one, the anti-lock braking system, or ABS. You've definitely heard of it. The whole point was to stop the wheels from locking up when you slam on the brakes. This meant you could still steer, you could avoid whatever was in front of you. Just an incredible safety leap.
But here's the thing about ABS. It was so much more than just one feature. Think of it like the foundation for all modern car safety tech. It was the cornerstone that made things like traction control and electronic stability possible. It totally redefined what active safety even was.
Okay, so the engineering is legendary. But a Mercedes isn't just about what's under the hood, is it? It's about that look, that feel. So how did they create a design that is so instantly recognizable, so desired all over the world?
Well, their design philosophy is pretty fascinating. They're not just chasing the latest fads. The whole goal is to be modern, but also timeless. Their designers actually talk about a gene pool, this collection of core design elements that they keep reinterpreting so that no matter how new a car is, you instantly know, yep, that's a Mercedes.
And the perfect example of this is the radiator grille. You have the classic, traditional grille that's been a status symbol for over 100 years. But then you also have the sporty one with the big star in the middle, which came from their 1950s race cars. They're constantly playing with both of these, evolving them. But that face of the car always remains unmistakably Mercedes.
All right, so you've got the world-class engineering, you've got the iconic design. How do you sell it? Well, this is where Mercedes-Benz became masters. They figured out how to sell not just a car, but a whole lifestyle.
So who are they selling this lifestyle to? Well, if you look at the typical owner, they're pretty successful.
We're talking an affluent, accomplished demographic. Professionals, executives, people who've really made it.
And their marketing is so smart. Check out this campaign. They used data from LinkedIn to find people who had just gotten a promotion. And the ad was simple. It was genius. You just updated your CV? Isn't it time to update your car? I mean, come on, that's a brilliant way to link that feeling of success with buying one of their cars.
And this all feeds into their legendary slogan, right? The best or nothing. That's not just a clever marketing line. It's the promise that connects everything we've talked about. The engineering, the safety, the design. It sets this incredibly high standard, and for their customers, that really means something.
But today, that very promise is facing its biggest test ever. How does a company that built its entire reputation on the internal combustion engine survive and thrive in an all-electric world?
And they're not thinking small. Their goal is for over 30% of all their sales to be electric by 2027. I mean, think about that. For a company whose entire history is wrapped up in the gas engine, that is a massive pivot. But here's the problem, the real tension they're dealing with right now. Their number one selling car, the gas-powered GLC SUV. The super profitable G-Wagon, sales are going up. But their fully electric cars, deliveries have actually gone down recently. And that's the conflict, right? How do you balance the cars that are making you money today with the cars you need to build for tomorrow?
So their strategy is all about balance. They have to keep making the gas cars that people clearly still want, while at the same time pouring billions into the next wave of electric vehicles. They're even building both kinds of cars on the same assembly lines, which is a really smart way to stay flexible no matter which way the market goes.
And all of this leaves us with one huge question. In a future where that famous engine roar is replaced by the quiet hum of a battery, can Mercedes-Benz still be Mercedes-Benz? Can they still deliver on that promise of the best or nothing? Well, that next chapter in their story, it's being written as we speak.